It was supposed to be a simple doctor's appointment. That's it. That's how this whole thing began. But what started as just a routine checkup for a friend, well, it spiraled into a discovery so terrifying it literally challenges the very nature of existence itself. So let me ask you this. What do you do? This is the question right at the heart of the story, coming from our narrator, Matt. And really, it's a question for all of us. What happens when your entire reality just shatters? Okay, so let's set the scene. It all kicks off with something incredibly normal. Matt's just there with his old buddy Don at a psychologist office. Don hasn't been sleeping right, so it's just a simple, proactive visit. Totally normal day, normal building. Nothing weird. Yet. So there they are, in the waiting room, probably just flipping through some old magazines, when they notice a conference room door is just slightly ajar. A tiny little detail, right? But through that tiny crack, their whole world is about to get ripped wide open. All of a sudden, a doctor's voice, loud, really stressed out, just cuts through the quiet. And he's not talking about just one patient. No, he says it's a shared phenomenon, a common delusion about living in some kind of alternate reality. The doctor then sees them watching and slams the door shut. But you can't unhear that. The seed of doubt is planted. So the door is shut, but then the sounds change. The quiet murmuring, it escalates into groans and these cries of real anguish. I mean, it's the sound of raw human suffering. Matt, Don, and even the receptionist, they all just look at each other, horrified. They can't just sit there. They have to know what is going on in that room. Matt pushes the door open and walks into a scene of just bizarre horror. There are 6 men, professionals, doctors, sitting around a conference table. But they are not okay. They're grimacing in pain, struggling, their eyes are locked onto something invisible in the air, and their faces just pure, absolute terror. And then, one of the men just screams this out. It's the first real attempt at an explanation for what's happening, and it sounds completely insane. I mean, what on earth could that possibly mean? For reality to defend itself? The very idea is just baffling and, honestly, pretty terrifying. And just when you think it can't get any weirder, it does. Dr. Davis, the very guy Don was there to see, screams this terrifying declaration, and then his eyes roll back in his head and he collapses. Okay, so this is not some abstract delusion anymore. This is a horrifying belief that they are all trapped. The whole room just erupts into chaos. This is the moment it all becomes terrifyingly personal. Don turns to Matt and confesses that what the doctors are freaking out about, it perfectly describes how he's been feeling. That same sense of being detached, like he's living inside a fishbowl. This isn't just some random event they stumbled on. It's happening to them. And they know in that instant, they have to get out of there now. So they bolt. They flee the office, rushing down the hall toward the elevator. Their minds are just racing, trying to process the impossible scene they just saw. They manage to get into an empty elevator, just desperate for those doors to close and get them away from all this. But just as the doors are sliding shut, they're ambushed. 2 men in business suits come sprinting down the hall. Their professional clothes totally clash with the absolute rage twisting their faces. They slam into the doors, forcing their way inside. Their escape is cut off. What follows is just a brutal, chaotic fight in this tiny, enclosed space. It's pure survival mode. Matt and Don are fighting back with everything they have, and in the heat of that struggle, a single blow lands. A blow that will change everything they thought they knew about their world and ours. In the middle of the fight, one of the attackers' heads hits the side of the elevator door, and a chunk of it just breaks off. Don screams this in absolute horror. I mean, it's a sentence that makes no sense. An empty skull? What could that possibly mean? Matt looks, and he confirms the impossible. There's almost no blood. The man's skull doesn't even look like bone. It looks more like green clay. And where his brain should be, there is a gaping, fist-sized hole that reveals absolutely nothing. His head is hollow. This isn't a man. It's something else entirely. Somehow, they finally escape the building, hearts pounding, minds just completely reeling from what they saw. Sirens are wailing in the distance, getting closer. There's only one safe place Matt can think of, his secluded home. And there's only one person he can turn to for answers, his AI assistant, Jennifer. So back in the safety of his office, Matt just unloads. He tells Jennifer the entire insane story. The doctors, the fight, the hollow men, all of it. He needs a logical explanation for a completely illogical day. He tells her to connect to any source, any database that might explain any of this. And Jennifer finds something. A theory, a concept that is as terrifying as it is comprehensive. It suggests that some intelligence could use technology to broadcast a false reality directly into our minds, making it feel completely, totally real. So it's not the physical world that's been changed. Our very perception of it has been hijacked. So the big question is, why is this all happening now? Well, according to the data Jennifer finds, this massive computer control system, this planetary broadcaster, it's ancient. We're talking 100,000 years old, and after 100 millennia of running, it is finally, catastrophically failing. And this is Jennifer's chilling conclusion. The system isn't just glitching, it's collapsing. The reality it has been broadcasting for thousands of generations is about to completely disappear. Those doctors, they weren't going mad. They were the canaries in the coal mine, feeling the first tremors as the whole illusion began to break apart. So what comes next? I mean, if the world they know is a simulation that's about to end, what on earth lies on the other side? Well, Matt and Dawn are about to find out. This is Jennifer's final ominous message. And you can tell it's not a warning anymore, it's a promise. They're about to become the first human beings in 100 millennia to see reality without the filter, to see the world as it truly is. And then it happens. The house begins to shake violently. The world outside the window just dissolves into this shimmering, silvery glow. The broadcast is ending. The simulation is over. And then everything goes completely, totally silent. And the story leaves us right there. At that exact moment, the veil is lifted. So the final question is, after 100,000 years of a carefully crafted illusion, what kind of world has been waiting on the other side this whole time?